Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you my November wrap-up, all of the books that I read in the month of November. November was an interesting month. I don't want to say I was in a reading slump, but I was definitely reading at a much slower pace than I normally do. I completed 4 books, but 2 of them I literally finished on the last day of the month. So I don't know what was going on. It wasn't that the books I read weren't good. They were. It was just slow going, very slow going. So I'm going to share with you the 4 books that I read now. So what happened this month was I had a TBR, and then some library holds came in, and library holds, tend to trump other books. So I did have to knock a few out of my planned TBR because I wasn't expecting to read some of the books that I ended up reading. The first one though was in my TBR, and that was Hillbilly Elegy. I can never remember the subtitle of this book. Hillbilly Elegy: A Memoir of a Family and Culture in Crisis by J.D. Vance. This was a highly anticipated memoir for me because, like I said in my TBR video, my grandma highly recommended it. She said it was fantastic. And I waited a long time to get it from the library. The hold list was pretty long. So I had high expectations, and I think overall it was a very good memoir. It's about a young man who grew up in southern Ohio, but also had family in Kentucky? See, I'm already forgetting. I want to say it was Kentucky. And so he grew up poor, in a mostly white areas, but very poor. A lot of people in his community succumbed to drugs and violence and things like that. And he ended up actually attending college and ended up going to Yale Law School. So it's his story kind of about how he rose above what is normally expected in his community and went on to do great things. And I think it was a good story. I thought his story was inspiring because he did come from, kind of a rough life. His mother had drug problems. She was constantly bringing men in and out of him and his sister's life. Very unstable. They were constantly moving around. What kind of held him together were his grandparents. His grandmother, if I remember right, he called her Mama, I want to say. I loved her. She was so crass and had such a dirty mouth, but such a heart of gold. And I think the reason I loved her so much was because she reminded me of my own mother. My mom is very similar in that she's kind of rough around the edges, talks like a truck driver, but really, really loves her family and does everything she can for her family. And that's how Mama was. So I really liked her. I think that, like I said, it was a good story, but I think parts of it felt a little bit like he was looking down on blue-collar workers, which for me, coming from a family that I was the first person in my family, well, actually I'm the only person in my family as of right now who has graduated from college. So a lot of people in my family are blue-collar workers or work trades, which to me are also very respectable jobs. And they're also very well-paying jobs most of the time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with choosing that path if college isn't for you. And I felt like he, at times, was kind of saying, like, that college is the only way. And, for him, sure, that might have been the case for him. But I think for a lot of people, there are other ways to become successful and to do something that you really like, and to also be able to provide for yourself and your family and live comfortably. So that part, I felt it just kind of I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way at times. But overall, a good memoir. I do recommend it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I read To Kill a Mockingbird. the graphic memoir, the graphic novel, obviously by Harper Lee, but also the illustrations and stuff were by Fred Fordham. And I got this book from the library, so I have since returned it. This was one that kind of I had put on hold, and I forgot that it was going to be coming in. So when it came up, I was like, well, I'm pushing one book out of my TBR to make room for this one. And it was really good, guys. If you love To Kill a Mockingbird, you're going to love the graphic novel because, I mean, it's the same story. Obviously, they have taken the novel and kind of condensed it into a graphic novel format, but I felt like it still hit all the major points. It brought all of the themes home that the original novel does. My only thing, I wish I had it so that I could show you, the art style wasn't my favorite. The palette was I think pretty. It was a very kind of neutral pastel type of color palette, which was nice, but I just felt like the actual illustrations of like the people and stuff, I felt like sometimes they looked a little like dead in the eyes, which I know it's an illustration, but it just didn't seem to jump out of the page like a lot of graphic novels do. Sometimes graphic novels, the illustrations are what make it so great. In this one, it was definitely the other way around. The story was fantastic. Obviously, it's To Kill a Mockingbird, but the art style didn't quite do it for me. So I gave the graphic novel 4 out of 5 stars, but you should definitely check it out if you love To Kill a Mockingbird or want to just revisit it, because it is a great, quick way to revisit the story and still kind of get all those feelings that the novel gives you. Next up, I read another library book that I was so excited when I got this because I was not thinking I was going to get it for a long time. When I put the book on hold, I was 25th in line. So I was like, yeah, it's going to be a while. And then boom, one day I got a text message, hey, this book is ready to pick up. So again, I was like, well, I got to make room for this book, and that book was Becoming by Michelle Obama. Highly anticipated memoir by Michelle Obama. And I have since had to return it to the library. So this is Michelle Obama's memoir about her life and about her time as First Lady. And it was really good, guys. I went into it not knowing a whole lot about Michelle Obama's life, her childhood and whatnot, other than that she, was Harvard, went to Harvard Law, and that she grew up in Chicago. I didn't really know a whole lot more about her, and so it was really nice to learn that she was had such a normal life. She grew up in the south side of Chicago. She lived in the upper apartment of her great aunt and uncle's house with her family, with her mom and dad and her brother, and just worked her way up to Harvard Law. She worked really hard, and she made it happen with the help of her, encouragement from her family and stuff like that. And she went on to become a lawyer, and then went into other career fields because she just wasn't finding being an attorney fulfilling, which I also found extremely reassuring, because I myself kind of went through that when I finished college and I got my degree, and then I started trying to work in the field that I went to school for and was like, I don't like this. Now what do I do? And that's exactly what happened to Michelle Obama, but she made it work. And she obviously talks about how she met Barack and their beginnings of their relationship, and then his whole process when he first worked in the Chicago House of Representatives, and then became a senator, and then obviously became president of the United States. And it was good. It was, because to me it was so inspiring. What I appreciate about the Obamas is that they are self-made people. Barack also came from nothing really, and went on to become the president of the United States. It just makes you feel hopeful. It makes you feel like you could do that too, So their story is just really inspiring. I did find the book was really good, but I also felt like it was a little bit long. It felt a little long to me. It was a little over 400 pages, which isn't terrible, but I just felt like parts of it dragged a little bit. And also, I found that to me the most fascinating part of her memoir was when they moved into the White House, which is actually only like the last 150 pages of the book. Um, so I was kind of like, when are we going to get to, when they get into the Oval Office? Like, I want to read about that. So it was a little bit, I wish it had been a little more balanced in terms of maybe like half the book was her childhood and upbringing, and then the other half was like life as First Lady. But other than that, I thought it was great. I think that politics aside, I think that Michelle Obama is a very inspiring, smart, wonderful woman, and I just appreciate her. So I would recommend, if you want to learn more about kind of the behind the scenes of what it was like to be married to a president, definitely pick up this memoir. If you want to learn more about Michelle Obama's early life, definitely pick up this memoir. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and yeah, it was good. And then I finished off the month with Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. This is the 3rd book in the Cormoran Strike series. I listened to this one on audio. The audiobooks for this are really good. In fact, I'm probably going to do the same with Lethal White, the 4th one that just came out in October, I think it was. We'll probably listen to that one on audio as well, because I really enjoy it. As long as it's the same narrator, because I really enjoy his narration. It's really good. In this one, the mystery is a lot more personal than the other two, the first 2 books. Because in this one, the bad guy, the murderer, is targeting Cormoran and Robin, his partner. And so they're trying to figure out who this person from Cormoran's past is and why this person is targeting them now. And it's pretty bad. This murderer he's pretty bad. What was interesting about this one was you got chapters that were from the point of view of the murderer, which didn't happen in the previous stories, I don't think. I don't remember that happening. So that was an interesting kind of twist to it. This one also dives into more of Cormoran and Robin's personal life. You learn more about their pasts, and you also, there's definitely more of a development between the two of them, which I'm not sure how I feel about. For me, the mystery in this one was a little bit more slow going. I think it started off very promising and was like, wow, this is going to be intense. But as the book went on, I felt like it was a touch boring for me, because right from the get-go, Cormoran has 3 people in mind that he thinks is the perpetrator. And so that's kind of where his detective work is taking him. And so when it's revealed who it was very underwhelming, personally. And so for me, the mystery was lacking a bit. Though I think it was definitely, of the 3 books, it's definitely the darkest one, the most like violent and kind of yucky of the 3. But to me, it was just more slow going. This book is what, 500, almost 500 pages, and it definitely felt like it was 500 pages long, which isn't always good. So I will definitely read the 4th book. I will continue to read these books because I enjoy Cormoran and Robin so much. I love their characters. But for me, the mystery was just kind of, and so I gave the book 3 stars. Alright guys, so those are the books that I read in November. 4 books, which is not bad at all. But typically I read about 6, maybe 7 sometimes, so it was a little bit of a slower month, but it was also a busy month with my daughter's birthday and Thanksgiving, which we hosted here at our house, and obviously already starting to like move into like the Christmas season and getting ready for Christmas. So it's, it happens. November is just busy, and hey, I'm still happy that I read 4 books. So I'm sure I'm sure December is also going to be quite busy, and we'll see how much reading I get done then. But yeah, so let me know down below if you read any of these books, what you thought of them. Also, let me know what you read because I would love to hear about it. So, but other than that, that is all I have for today. I hope to, in my next video, tell you guys who the giveaway winner was, because I'm filming this on December 1st, and the giveaway is open until the end of today. So my next video, I will announce who the giveaway, my 1,000 subscriber giveaway winner is. And yeah, so that's exciting. But until then, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great week. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.